Hello and welcome back to Canada Top to Bottom. Now, if you've been following the trends in Canadian immigration over recent months and years, you are probably aware of the fact that there is a huge labour shortage across the whole country and in very specific occupations. For obvious reasons, after the pandemic, there was a very serious need for healthcare workers and plans and policies being put into place to try and address this. The other areas that are particularly struggling are manufacturing, construction, retail and accommodation and food services. But what you may not be aware of is that Canada is also in desperate need of drivers and in particular long-haul truck drivers.
The main culprit is Canada's ageing population and therefore a workforce heading towards retirement. Right now, there are more than 1 million job vacancies in Canada, which in a country of only 38 million is quite a shocking statistic. Around a third of Canadian businesses and workplaces report a shortage of staff, and the demand for truckers is greater than ever. According to recent statistics, there are currently more than 50,000 available jobs for truck drivers across Canada.
Manitoba in particular has a desperate need for new truck drivers to fill the gaps left after the pandemic and by drivers retiring. The industry is aware that they're struggling to attract people and therefore need to focus on bringing new people in from outside of Canada.
Wonderful news for truck drivers is that in a direct bid to tackle the shortage, the classification for truck drivers has recently been upgraded, making the occupation eligible for those looking to apply for permanent residence through express entry. In November 2022, the new NOC codes were implemented. NOC codes are the Canadian government's way of classifying the skill level of occupations, and prior to these changes, truck driving was not seen as a skilled job for creating an express entry profile. However, this all changed with the implementation of the new codes, and transport truck drivers are now classed as skilled workers.
This is exciting because express entry is the most popular and simplest way of gaining permanent residence in Canada for skilled foreign workers, and truck driving has now been recognised as skilled work, making drivers eligible to apply for permanent residence. For more information on express entry, check out our video using the link above, and for more information on the NOC code for truck drivers, click on the link in the description box below.
Express entry is based on a points system whereby you are assigned points based on the eligibility criteria. The candidates with the highest points are offered an invitation to apply for permanent residence. But even if your current points total is quite low, you shouldn't be discouraged, because one of the big pieces of Canadian immigration news over the last few months is that in the spring of 2023, the Canadian government is going to start doing targeted express entry draws, meaning that candidates will no longer be selected purely based on their points total, but on other factors such as their occupation and work experience. So there is every reason to believe that in-demand occupations such as truck drivers may be targeted for their skills, even if their points total is low. For this reason, we would thoroughly recommend creating an express entry profile and waiting to see what the new year brings.
However, to immigrate through express entry, you still need to be eligible across the other criteria, such as having a high level of English or French language and sufficient education. If you're not going to be eligible for express entry, there are still some options available to you.
Provincial Nominee programs, or PNPs, are immigration programs specific to each Canadian province, where the province targets certain groups of immigrants depending on their labour shortages and their needs. As well as Manitoba that we mentioned earlier, Saskatchewan is a particularly good province for truck drivers, as they have introduced a new program called the Long Haul Truck Driver Project, aimed at improving the recruitment process of long-haul truck drivers to work in the province. Other provinces which have a great need, not just for long-haul truck drivers, but also roles such as delivery drivers and drivers for construction sites, are Alberta, Ontario, Nova Scotia and British Columbia. We have a whole playlist of videos on all the provincial nominee programs for each of the provinces, so check them out using the link above.
Another option to consider is the Temporary Foreign Worker Programme, which is a way that helps Canadian employers hire foreign workers to fill positions that they couldn't otherwise find workers for. As the name suggests, a temporary foreign worker permit is a way of gaining temporary residence in Canada, allowing the permit holder to enter the country and work here, and with valuable Canadian work experience, the options for permanent residence are much greater. Also, due to the huge shortage of drivers and the fact that there are not enough Canadians to fill the positions, finding work as a truck driver will be a lot easier than more popular jobs which have a lot of competition for positions.
To find an employer who would like to hire you under this program, you should keep an eye on job listings in Canada, and a great place to start is the Canadian Job Bank. This is a comprehensive list of all the advertised jobs available across the country at any one time. You can filter your search to particular occupations and certain areas of the country. You can even search for jobs from Canadian employers who specifically want to recruit temporary foreign workers. We will add a link to the job bank in the description box below.
So that's all for today. We hope we've given you some inspiration to come to Canada, whether you're an experienced truck driver or just looking for ideas. And don't forget to check out all our other videos about how to move here before you head off. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.